What is up, everyone? Hey, good morning. My name is Tyler Ramsby. I am the guest host once again today, and today is June 24th, 2025, and this is episode 905 of the Daily Cyber Threat Brief. Make sure you take a screenshot of you in chat. You can get one CPE for this. And also, hey, if audio is bad at all, also let me know. I'm going to pull up chat, make sure everything is looking good. I don't see anyone yelling at me yet in chat or in mod chat. So I'm going to assume all is going well. But I'm super excited to be back with you guys again this morning to shred some of the top cyber news. Before we dive into the news, I do want to bring you a quick word from our sponsor. Now, this video is from Jerry, so I'm going to play the video from Jerry. It's a few minutes long, but hey, one huge way that you can support Simply Cyber is if you look in the description of this video, of this live stream, you can find links to all of the different sponsors for this live show. So during this sponsor, if you could do us a huge favor, click those links, show the sponsors a little bit of love, and we would very much appreciate it. After that, we will dive into shredding the top cyber news. Everyone's saying audio is good. Okay, beautiful. If anything does sound off at all during the live stream, let me know in chat, and I will do my best to fix it. But let's go ahead and check out this word from our sponsors.
Guys, I want to say shout out and thanks to the stream sponsors, those who enable me to bring this show to you every single day, starting with my friends Barricade Cyber and their Fortify 365 solution. Is your Microsoft 365 environment secure? Well, with business email compromise attacks on the rise, your entire operation could be at risk. Fortify 365 from Barricade Cyber Solutions is your defensive shield. Their team of experts implements proven security standards to protect your business from cyber threats, ensure compliance, and safeguard your sensitive data. They've helped countless organizations strengthen their M365 defenses with tailored solutions that address real-world vulnerabilities. Don't wait until after a breach to take action. Visit Fortify365.com today to learn how they can secure your Microsoft 365 environment against tomorrow's threats today. I also want to say shout out to Antisyphon Training. Guys, Antisyphon Training is disrupting the traditional cybersecurity training industry by offering high-quality, cutting-edge education to everyone, regardless of financial position. Their team of industry professionals assemble some of the best curriculum and course delivery you're going to see this side of the Mason-Dixon line, this side of the Mississippi, this side of the Rockies, this side of the Atlantic, this side of the Pacific. You choose your own graphical boundary, and they're the best on one side for sure. And the jury's out if they're not the best on both sides. Holler. I own an online academy, and I'm telling you, like, they are amazing. They're so good. It's all about supporting each other, not about, competitiveness like that. Just know they've got tons going on. Go to antisyphontraining.com, click on the course catalog, and you can see they have their upcoming course schedules. They've got courses in June, July, August, red, blue, whatever it is you want, they've got action going. All right, so go to antisyphontraining.com. Remember, links in the description for all of these are below. Let's hear quickly from ThreatLocker. I'll be chatting with you in chat. Bodie McBoatface. I want to give some love to the Daily Cyber Threat Brief sponsor, ThreatLocker. Do zero-day exploits and supply chain attacks keep you up at night? Well, worry no more. You can harden your security with ThreatLocker. Worldwide, companies like JetBlue trust ThreatLocker to secure their data and keep their business operations flying high. ThreatLocker takes a deny-by-default approach to cybersecurity and provides a full audit of every action allowed or blocked for risk management and compliance. Onboarding and operation is fully supported by their US-based Cyber Hero support team. Get a free 30-day trial and learn more about how ThreatLocker can help prevent ransomware and ensure compliance. Visit threatlocker.com. All right, thank you very much. Just really quick, want to remind you also about Flare Academy. Now, I love Flare.io, the website, which is the landing page for Flare's cyber threat intelligence capability. But did you know that Flare has an academy side with training, tons of free, basically instructor-led webinars, for lack of a better term. But they're, a couple times a month, high value. As an example, on June 23rd, Jason Haddix is giving a talk, the Jason Haddix, bug bounty hacker methodology, CISO, CEO, trainer. The dude's awesome. He's right here. And as an example of what Flare Academy offers, you can learn operationalizing cybercrime data for red team and offensive ops, 2 hours. And the best part is, right after the webinar is over, you can go on Flare Academy's Discord and talk directly with Jason in this instance, or whoever the instructor is. So use the link below. It's simplycyber.io/flare. It will take you directly to the upcoming talks they have. This is gold. Don't miss on it. Don't sleep on it. It's totally free. You can just register and go check it out. It's awesome. All about good times.
Beautiful. Well, hey, a big thank you to our sponsors. And do just want to remind you, every sponsor of the Simply Cyber Daily Threat Briefing, these are all sponsors that have been vetted. They really do offer amazing content, amazing resources. So make sure you check them out. Hey, before we dive into shredding the top cyber news, also want to remind you, if this is one of your first times in the show, make sure you drop hashtag first timer in chat. Would love to formally welcome you to the party. I don't have all the cool sound effects that Jerry has, but I have my own voice, and I can say, welcome to the party, pal, if someone is here for the very first time. I see a bunch of Team SCs. Good to have all of you here. One more other kind of housekeeping thing to set expectations as we dive in. The CISO series, which is what we use to pull all these top news stories in, they decided not to update the links for today. I think they must be aware that I'm guest hosting, and they just want to see how I do when a curveball is thrown at me. But hey, I hit curveballs just fine. So if randomly the news story is wrong, I try to very quickly listen to just the beginning of each one in 10 minutes before the show started so I could Google and find all of the links. But we're going to roll with the punches. It will go well. All that being said, hopefully you guys are ready to dive in and we'll check out these top cyber news. I'm going to go ahead and get this set up. Make sure this is the right day. It looks like it is the right day. And make sure all the audio is coming through. Now, here's the other working piece that should work. But you guys tell me if you can't hear the audio of the news story. Here we go.
From the CISO series, it's cybersecurity headlines.
These are the cybersecurity headlines for Tuesday, June 24th, 2025. I'm Lauren Verno. DHS warns of retaliatory Iranian.
Oh, before we get to the story, I just saw Tochukwu, if I'm saying that correct, said hashtag first time in chat. Welcome to the party, pal. Hey, super good to have you as part of the Simply Cyber family of joining the live stream. You are amazing. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Jay Gold, over in Mod Chat for pointing that out. All right, let's dive into the story, but wanted to very quickly welcome you to the Team SC party. Let's go.
In cyber attacks. Iranian cyber threat actors are expected to ramp up operations against U.S. targets following President Trump's recent airstrikes on 3 Iranian nuclear sites. Now, the Department of Homeland Security issued a national advisory warning that state-sponsored hackers and pro-Iranian hacktivists are likely to escalate low-level cyber attacks with the potential for more serious retaliation. Iranian-linked groups have already called for attacks in response to the conflict. The country's track record includes targeting critical infrastructure, political campaigns, and even operational tech in the U.S., primarily by using malware.
This is a story we sort of already talked about yesterday. Anytime that there is... Oh, I just realized, do I not have chat overlay? Here, one second, guys. Let me fix the chat. My bad. Give me just a moment. There you go. Apologies for that. Now you can see yourself's chat. So now you can drop a comment, take a screenshot for 1 CPE. Just happened to see the comment over there. But there, we should be good there. Now, as far as this story goes, we talked quite a bit about it yesterday. But one thing to recognize is when it comes to traditional warfare, behind both before traditional warfare, during it, and afterwards, there is cyber warfare. And this is happening all the time, all across the world. But when we have like a massive global conflict, such as between Iran and Israel, and now US getting involved and all these other regional partners that are involved, this is just reality nowadays. There's going to be cyber attacks in the United States targeting critical infrastructure. And this is where if you work in critical infrastructure, or if you work in like a bank, or if you work in an organization like Microsoft, or if you're a vendor for any government software or government support, you need to stay on high alert. You see, the difference between your traditional like hackers, which many of them are just script kiddies that are targeting the low hanging fruit and trying to get access to a system, and an APT or an advanced persistent threat, is that advanced persistent threats have governments behind them. They have a lot of money. They're highly trained. They develop not only their own 0 days, they purchase 0 days in order to gain access to things. So, really, if you're on the blue team, or if you're a CISO, if you're a leader in one of these areas, it's not if you get breached, but when you get breached. That's really the mindset you need to adopt. You need to come to this from a place of an assumed breach scenario. And I chatted about this a little bit yesterday, but I do pen testing for my day job, which means companies pay me to hack them before the bad guys do. And I give them a report saying, hey, you might want to fix this before the bad guys get into your system. And often when I'm doing a pen test on an internal network or a cloud environment, it's an assumed breach scenario, which means the client gives me low-level credentials into their environment because they know it's just a matter of time until you are breached. And if someone gets into your network, what damage can they do? If your network is designed properly, that damage is limited because once they get initial access, they can't do lateral movement, they can't do privilege escalation, they can't hunt for secrets. So it's not if, but when you get breached. All right, I'm looking at chat. I'm not missing anything there. I think everything is still working well. And now I got chat back on the screen. So we got all that figured out. Let's continue through these stories. We'll see what the next one is about. And let's not continue through the stories. Let me go jump over here first. And I have to refresh this. Give me just a second. All right, here we go.
Steel giant Nucor confirms breach. North America's largest steel producer, Nucor, confirmed a cyber attack that led to the data theft and the temporary shutdown of operations at several facilities. In an SEC filing, the company said limited data was exfiltrated, affected systems have been restored, and there's no indication attackers still have access. While Nucor hasn't confirmed ransomware was involved, the incident does bear the hallmarks of a double extortion attack, though no group has claimed responsibility at this time.
All right, so very common news story. I feel like we saw a bunch of these yesterday as well, but steel giant Nucor confirms hackers stole data in a recent breach. There's a few questions I have about this. Number one, this is clearly a massive organization, 32,000 people. And it says it disclosed this incident last month, revealing that it took down some systems to contain the security breach and halted production at some of its facilities. We have some, we don't know which ones, we don't know the total size of that impact. It also had notified law enforcement and hired external cybersecurity experts to assist with the recovery. Blah, 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 blah. If we scroll through, there's two things that stand out to me. It says that they determined that the threat actor exfiltrated limited data from the company's IT systems. We don't know what limited data means. Now, I don't know if this company, is it Nucor or whatever, a steel giant, since they're selling steel, I have to imagine that they're in the position of a vendor. And as a vendor, they also may have information on their clients, on other companies. We don't know for sure, and we don't know what was breached, but that's always the tough spot where you have to read through whatever the news is telling you. Limited data can mean a lot of things. If they did not, steal 100% of the data, even if they only stole 99% of the data of the company, it's technically still limited data. So it doesn't explain more than that. It says the company is reviewing and evaluating the impacted data. So they don't even know what data was impacted yet. It says they're still reviewing and evaluating. So we have some like lawyer speech here to say, yeah, we were breached. It's limited. We're still actually reviewing what that limited data means. And it says it will carry out any appropriate notifications to potentially affected parties. Like, this is so lawyer speech. All right. I mean, look at this. We have limited data. They're still reviewing and evaluating. They will carry out any appropriate notifications to potentially affected parties. So what they're saying is this could be a lot worse than it sounds. We don't know, or maybe we do know, but we don't want to panic people and we don't want to panic our shareholders. So it is limited. We will contact appropriate and it's potentially affected parties and to regulate the agencies as required by applicable law. So there's the lawyer speeches again. We're looking at law. We're seeing what we actually have to say about this breach before we say anything. And that's always the tough thing about managing vendor security and realizing this is actually what is going on. Another thing that stood out to me is this. It says Nucor says it has also restored access to systems impacted by the recent breach and affected production operations, adding that it believes the threat actors have been, they believe, they don't know for sure. They believe that threat actors have been evicted and no longer have access to its network. Either they have been evicted or they have not been evicted. I'm guessing they can't say one way or the other for sure. Part of that is just the nature of threat actors, but here's the thing. Let me scroll back up. This is an organization with 32,000 people. This is a massive org. Now, before I became a pen tester, I was on the blue team. I was a senior analyst and I did like vulnerability management for a very large credit union, but still not this size. But what I can say for the credit union I worked for is Active Directory. I mean, the entire system in general had been around for so long that there were a lot of misconfigurations and bugs that if a threat actor gained access to the system and let's say they compromised it, there'd be a lot of different ways of maintaining persistence. I think about like if you have like ants at your house, right? If you ever had the issue where you have ants and they're kind of going around your kitchen, even if you put out traps, often there's still a few ants that are trying to get into your food. That's kind of like a threat actor. You can try to trap them. You can try to kick them out of their systems, but if the threat actors know what they're doing, gosh, they're like ants or even termites, right? They dig deep and they have some type of persistence into the network. So I don't know for sure. I'm trying to read between the lines between the lawyer speech and what I see in the real world. We have this: no ransomware operators have claimed responsibility, but it's likely a ransomware operator. Curious what you guys think over in chat. What do you think of the legal speech? Is that something you see regularly? If legal thinks they've been evicted, but security knows they're still there, the statement isn't technically false. Exactly. There's a lot of like being clear, kind of, but also hiding behind lawyers. And it's just, I don't want to blame the company for this, right? A company this size has a bunch of legal things in process. They have to be careful what they communicate, but they also don't want to get sued. It's just what sucks is if you are one of their clients and you're like down the stream of this attack, you just have no idea how you can do this. Not an aunt and aunts. Yeah, those aunts get into it. All right, let's go ahead and continue through these stories. Jump to the next one. Maybe. All right, recommended settings. I'll take the cookies.
Ransomware hits healthcare system again. McLaren Healthcare has confirmed a ransomware attack that compromised sensitive data for over 740,000 patients, marking the second major cyber incident to hit the Michigan hospital network in less than a year. The hackers had access to systems between July and August of 2024, stealing names, social security numbers, medical records, and other personal information. Victims are now being notified and offered 1 year of free credit monitoring. While McLaren hasn't named the group behind the attack, a ransom note shared online points to the Inc. ransomware gang.
All right, common story and something I see all the time when I'm doing pen testing in the real world. We have a healthcare system. I still get frustrated that ransomware groups are targeting healthcare systems, but once again, ransomware groups are generally going after what a low-hanging bug is. So maybe they were able to gain VPN access. Maybe there was an external web app that they were able to compromise to get access to the environment. But it's a healthcare company, right? Silliness. But this is also what sucks. It says it compromises sensitive information of more than 740,000 individuals. Now, the way this works is when a breach like this happens, it's often going to lead to more data breaches of each one of those individuals or researching who those individuals are, what positions they might have at their jobs, and going from there. And here's what I mean. This breach happened. The second one, and we'll talk about that in a moment, but this breach happened. They stole $740,000 individuals. Even if McLaren Healthcare is able to get them out of their systems, which if this is the second breach, I'm going to say, nope, they maybe believe they were out, but once again, they had persistence set up in the environment. But even if they're able to get them out, what a threat actor could do, or more of the script kiddie nature, is they will download the $740,000 individuals' information, and then they'll target each one of those, saying, hey, here's a scam email basically saying we discovered your password, or this is your password. I saw what you were doing on your webcam. Kind of your really traditional, instead of B2B scams, business to business, business to consumer, or scammer to consumer scams for those low hanging bugs on 740,000 individuals. So that's why this really sucks. Not only is the healthcare organization breached, but you now have 740,000 individuals who are going to be dealing with the repercussions of it. Now, I recognize at the bottom, like, hey, we just gave away all of your personal information, including your social security number, your driver's license, your medical information, your health insurance information, and more. But you know what? We'll give you 1 year of complimentary identity protection and credit monitoring services. Who doesn't have that yet? Like, I feel like all of us have been breached. All of us have been offered 1 year of complimentary identity protection and credit monitoring services. That only fixes one side of the issue for 1 year and not even everything. It doesn't fix the scamming, doesn't fix the targeted attacks. Come on, handle your data better. Like, I know the ransomware ones are the ones in the wrong, but the healthcare organization, this is the second time that they were breached, right? Is that what it said in the story? I'm pretty sure compromise is sensitive last year. I could have swore they said it was the second time. I'm scrolling through here now. I'm pretty sure it said it. I'm not AI hallucinating that. But here's the thing. When they got breached, look at the information that the threat actors were able to retrieve. They were able to retrieve names, social security numbers, driver's license numbers, medical information, health insurance. This means these things were not stored encrypted. I harped on this before, but guys, when I'm doing a penetration test, you would be surprised how often when I target a hospital or a bank or an insurance company, like these sensitive organizations, that when I'm able to get into their systems and just look around at like S3 buckets or Azure Blob Storage, or just things being stored in Active Directory and clear text, I regularly find social security numbers, driver's license, even medical information, all being stored in clear text. And I always put it on the report. You don't want to be doing this, because it's a matter of time until the threat actor gains the same access I have in your environment. And when a threat actor does it, they're not going to give you a nice report at the end saying, fix this. They're just going to steal all of that information and they're going to hold it against you. So if you are storing this in your systems or in the cloud at rest, unencrypted, stupid cat, my cat wants to be part of this show. Sorry, cat, you don't get to be part of this show today. But if you're storing this unencrypted, come on. Right? This is more than gotta patch it, more like gotta encrypt it. Like, let's go. Stop storing this stuff at rest, unencrypted. Finally, one more thing that I'll say is, because they said this was the second time it happened, at least I believe it said it in the story, is even if you pay a ransomware group or you attempt to kick them out, if you do not do your due diligence, you will become a target again. Especially if you pay them, you're likely going to become a target again, because they know they got money out of you one time, they're going to get money out of you again. So if you do not fully remove them from your systems, reset everything, go with a group like Barricade Cyber to make sure you're doing it the right way in your incident response process, you are going to have a bad day. All right, there's my rant on all of those things. Let me continue going through the stories. We have Salt Typhoon. Let me know what you guys think in chat as well of that. I see some people talking about those things. It's that stuff's very frustrating to me. All right, here we go.
Salt Typhoon hits Canadian telecom. A warning to Canadian telecom providers: the Chinese state-sponsored hacking group Salt Typhoon is actively targeting networks with a confirmed breach in February of 2025 that exploited a critical Cisco flaw months after it was publicly disclosed. The Canadian Centre for Cybersecurity and the FBI say the attackers used the vulnerability to steal network configurations and set up tunnels for data exfiltration, raising alarms about ongoing risk. Now, despite earlier warnings, some critical infrastructure remains unpatched, prompting renewed urgency as Typhoon ramps up activity across telecom and other key sectors.
Are you joking me? Yes, you gotta patch it. If I had the sound effects. Guys, this is like a freaking try hack me room. All right, if your infrastructure is less secure than a try hack me room, you have issues. This is easy, an easy fix. You need to have a patch management system in place. I mean, that's your first failure. It says during a February 2025 incident, Salt Typhoon exploited this CVE from 2023. How are you going this long with an active CVE on an external facing network device? This is insane. And if you're a telecommunication firm, surely you understand security. Surely you understand how networking works. I mean, you're in the business of telecommunications, and yet your external network facing device is less secure than my freaking try hack me room like silver platter that I made based on CVEs I found. When my try hack me room is more secure than your real world infrastructure, you have issues. Seriously, have a patch program in place. You have to patch it. I'm most surprised that it took this long for this organization to get hacked. Because here's the thing. If they have this flaw public facing, if I was a threat actor, and this isn't, as Jerry always says, threat actor academy, but if I was a threat actor and I read a breach about an organization that got breached by this freaking CVE that was 2 years old, you're going to be targeted. Like, what, I don't even know what this organization was called, whatever this telecommunication firm is called. If anyone works there and you're watching this, you're going to be targeted more now because this exposes your bad security and bad patch management. You have to have those systems in place. Utmost importance. It is serious. You got to patch it. The other thing that stood out to me, if we scroll through, blah, blah, no actual breaches were confirmed at the time. Where was this? I believe they said, what is my cat doing now? He's trying to dig into a freaking plastic bag. He's trying to be as annoying as he can because I won't pet him. Yeah, cat, be quiet. You're part of the threat actor group. Annoying. Anyways, what stands out to me, I think they talked about how they didn't know. It says here it is. In many cases, the activity is limited to reconnaissance, though the data stolen from internal networks can be used for lateral movement or supply chain attacks. It doesn't seem like they even had an idea of what happened. It says no actual breaches were confirmed. This must have been back at the American broadband providers. The Canadian authorities flagged reconnaissance activity that targeted dozens of key orgs in the country. Okay, I see. I mean, here's the other part. Not only do you have to patch it, you have to have logs in place. So when things happen, you're able to log and like, hey, here are the systems the threat actor gained access to. Here are the sensitive things they may have exfiltrated. You need to have these things in place as an organization. I mean, it's the same as having the legal in place. I guarantee you this telecommunications firm has like lawyers on hand to, deal with things like this. Well, you also need to spend money on cybersecurity management, on both like proactive and reactive. And what I mean by that is proactive, you should be doing pen test engagements and red team engagements. Reactive, you should have a well-funded, well-paid blue team incident response to handle these things, not after the fact, but before the fact. This was something that could be easily solved. When I did vulnerability management, this is one of the big things I solved. We kept our eyes and our mind alert to any pending CVEs, and then we would fix them ASAP. Being a credit union, a telecommunications firm, once again, you got to patch it. All right, there's my rant on that story. Let's go ahead and dive back in.
Thanks to today's episode sponsor, ThreatLocker. ThreatLocker is a
all right, and we are at the mid-roll. I don't have the music to play. I try to figure out how to play my own music, but the way I have to do a restream, none of you probably care, but I have to pipe the audio from a browser tab, and it doesn't let me switch things very easily. I need to get a stream deck or something like all the cool kids. But let's jump into our mid-roll. So I want to give a big thank you to our sponsors. We have Barricade Cyber Solutions, Threat Locker, Delete Me, Antisyphon Training, and Flare Academy. You heard about them from the beginning, but I just want to repeat once again, all of these sponsors are amazing. And would really appreciate it if you look at the description of this video right below me. You have links to each one of those sponsors. Make sure you click into those links, show the sponsor some love and support, because that shows them that, hey, you're sponsoring the daily cyber threat brief. It helps us and it's helping your organization. So make sure you check those out. And you guys need to picture the sound, the la 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 song in your head, because although I'm doing manual sound effects, I'm not going to sing that song for you. Also, today is Tuesday, which is Tidbit Tuesday with Jerry Auger, PhD. I am not Jerry Auger, but I am Tyler Ramsby, MDiv, I guess is what you can say. So Tidbit Tuesday, if you're new to Simply Cyber, this is a time where we just share, hey, here's some fun fact about usually Jerry, about the host, but I'm not Jerry, so that's the first fun fact. And I also realized I didn't introduce myself too well in the beginning. So I'll share with you a little bit about me and then some fun stuff about me. So number one, if you don't follow me on YouTube, you should. Like, if you enjoy the content that I'm making right now here on Simply Cyber's Daily Cyber Threat Brief, even if you don't enjoy it, humor me anyways. But if you just search for my name over on YouTube, Tyler Ramsby, you can find my YouTube channel. My channel is full of hands-on teaching on ethical hacking in addition to some blue team stuff. So make sure you subscribe to my channel over on YouTube. I also teach courses over on Simply Cyber Academy. I don't know why Simply Cyber Academy is not an official sponsor, because it is part of the Simply Cyber universe. But let me drop a link real quick to Simply Cyber Academy over in chat. We'll see if I type it correct this time. There's Simply Cyber Academy. Can I pull it up on screen? There we go. So academy.simplycyber.io. I have 2 courses over there, and I can even jump to my main screen now as I share. But I have Intro to AWS Pen Testing, which will take you from really no knowledge or beginner knowledge of AWS pen testing up to intermediate level. I also have an introductory course to hacking in general called Intro to Hacking Methodology. So if you're interested in the red team offensive side of things, you can check out those courses. And I have my next course coming out July 8th on hands-on phishing, teaching how to do real phishing campaigns, setting up infrastructure, purchasing domains, like all the behind the scenes stuff that pen testers and red teamers do. It's going to be a perfect course for both the red team and blue team. And finally, if you enroll in my hands-on phishing course within the first 4 weeks, I am giving away 1 voucher for the OSCP through OffSec. That is an $1,800 value. I'll be doing the drawing live on stream if you enroll in the first 4 weeks. So make sure you check out that course when it comes out. Now that I got my self-promotion out of the way, I can go ahead and unhighlight Simply Cyber Academy. Geez, I lost the message. You guys chat a lot. There we go. Hey, thank you for dropping my information, Nightbot. Yeah, if you do ! Tyler, it will actually drop my YouTube channel and all of that fun stuff. But hey, Tidbits Tuesday. A little bit about me that's probably interesting. I have a bunch of passions outside of cybersecurity. One thing I do is I like to make rap music. You can actually find this on my YouTube channel. I actually used to travel around and perform back when I was in high school. I don't do it as much now, but I love hip hop. I love music. I love making music. I used to have actually a side hustle where I would record different bands and artists in my area. I would do all the mixing and mastering and all that stuff to make the music sound awesome. So that's one little side bit about me. I also love boxing, not just watching it, but doing it. I haven't like competed formally yet, but I've been boxing for I think 6 years now, and I do some relatively hard sparring occasionally at my gym. One of my sparring partners that I've boxed with and got beat up by in the past is Josh Dyer. You can look him up on Google, but Josh Dyer currently holds the belt, I believe, the light heavyweight belt in the bare knuckle fighting championship. So I've gone toe to toe with him in the ring. I live to talk about it. I did not get knocked out. So those are the things that I enjoy: rapping, boxing, hacking, hack all the things, box all the things, rap all the things. And if you're going to be at DEF CON, I'm also going to be there. And if anyone can find us a boxing gym and you want to learn some boxing, I'll go to the gym with you and you can try to knock me out if you want. I won't even hit you back. I'll just like dodge and block your punches. But a little bit about me. Let's dive. My cat is still being annoying and making strange sounds next to me. I don't know if you guys can hear him, but he's very mad that I am not petting him right now. But he's going to have to get over it because it's showtime. Let's dive back into the news stories for today.
A global leader in zero trust endpoint security, offering cybersecurity controls to protect businesses from zero-day attacks and
Didn't we already do
ransomware.
this story?
ThreatLocker operates with a default deny approach to reduce the attack surface and mitigate potential cyber vulnerabilities. To learn more and start your free trial, visit threatlocker.com/CISO. That's THREATLOCKER.com/CISO. Iran-linked attacks hit globally. Now, as tensions with Iran escalate, recent cyber attacks abroad serve as a stark reminder that Iranian-linked hackers are already actively targeting critical systems worldwide. One of the reasons why the DHS is warning of potential retaliation on U.S. soil. For instance, in Albania, the group Homeland Justice, linked to Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, disrupted multiple public services in the capital by taking down the city's website, wiping servers, and exfiltrating data. The group cited Albania's support of an exiled opposition group as motivation. Meanwhile, in Saudi Arabia, the pro-Iranian hacktivist group Cyber Fatah leaked thousands of personal records tied to the Saudi Games in 2024, exposing passport scans, medical certificates, and bank details from athletes and officials. Now, security researchers say this is part of a broader information warfare campaign designed to advance Iran's anti-US, anti-Israel, and anti-Saudi agenda.
It must have been a slow news story or slow news day because they began the podcast, unless I'm crazy and I'm like pulling a GPT and hallucinating about it, but they began the podcast by talking about the possibility for U.S. cyber attacks from Iran. And now our story is about the possibility of U.S. cyber attacks from Iran. I also don't even know if I pulled up the right story. I shared in the beginning that the CISO series, they just decided not to update the links for today. So I had to very quickly like jump through the podcast to try to find the right links. But this story that I found actually gives a little more information about some of these cyber attacks. So if you scroll through here, there was a couple of things that stood out to me. One is this. We talked about this last week on distributed denial of service attacks, but this is one of the things they are trying to do. DDoS attack just takes a computer or a server or a system offline with bot traffic. And I talked yesterday about how a botnet works. Here's the TLDR. A botnet is thousands of computers, routers, IoT devices that have been compromised that then communicate with a C2 or a command and control server. The threat actor can then use that C2 to tell all of these compromised devices, I want you to try to connect to this website. I want you to try to connect to hacksmarter.org. And if enough devices try to connect, there's a good chance that you are going to crash the victim web server and take it offline. So that's one of the things these Iranian hackers are trying to do. I will say, like, I don't think this is being, I don't think this is likely being done by the Iranian government or by APT groups. DDoS attacks are very much script kiddie territory. Anyone can do it. Not anyone can get a botnet, but like literally there's botnets for hire. You just pay the right amount of money. You say, here's the victim. And for like $50, you can do a freaking DDoS attack for a certain amount of time. So it does not take skill. It's just being annoying. We have this other attack that happened recently. Iranian hacker group on Sunday claimed responsibility for temporary shuttering Truth Social, Trump's signature social media platform. The denial of service attack occurred just after Trump announced the strikes on nuclear targets. So once again, it is what it is. Denial of service, it's going to happen. There are things you can put in place to help stop or remediate or prevent it a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's just a reality of having an internet out in this space. My website actually got hit by a DDoS attack, hacksmarter.org. I still don't know why. I think it was just bots scanning. But if you want to see my video about it, if you go to my YouTube channel, I have kind of a clickbaity title, How I Almost Got Hacked. And I even show like all of the logs and what they look like. So if you want to know what that looks like, you can check that out. It says they might be cooperating with Russia, which would make sense. Here's the other thing that I found really interesting. Iranian spin doctors have been found using artificial intelligence tools to spread disinformation in the US and other nations. An OpenAI blog published last summer disclosed a covert campaign involving fake news websites aimed at influencing American voters, though, according to the company, the effort failed to gain significant engagement. Bruh, it would not be that hard. It would not be that hard. Not even like I know it says Iranian spin doctors. I'll be real with you guys. A lot of the misinformation is coming from people in the US who don't know how to read or how to like check sources. All right. Even Wikipedia is a much more reliable source than the wacky freaking websites I see people sharing on Facebook in particular. So that's the other part of cyber warfare is disinformation or misinformation. I believe at DEF CON, there's an entire like misinformation village. I don't know if that's the name of it, but it talks all about these kinds of things of how misinformation can be used to mislead an entire country or mislead voting, whether it's about healthcare things, whether it's about COVID, whether it's about the war, like whatever it is. You need to be able to do critical thinking on your own. You need to be able to evaluate if a source is reputable. That's important, not just like for you personally, but for you as a professional in this field. Do not believe every clickbaity thing you see. Do not believe that YouTube video with a clear AI voiceover showing some craziness, right? Learn how to read. Learn how to do research. Don't be one of those people. All right, let's dive into this story. Maybe.
Fake
There we
Zoom
go.
calls used to deploy malware. We are now learning that a scheme of fake Zoom calls to deploy malware is greater than first thought. Now, we first reported this story last week where security researchers say North Korea's Blue Noroff hacking group is behind a new wave of social engineering attacks using fake Zoom calls to deploy malware and steal credentials. Now, multiple incidents have been reported with victims mostly in cryptocurrency and financial sectors, being tricked into running fake Zoom audio fix scripts or downloading malicious extensions after experiencing staged technical issues. The attackers used deepfakes, spoof domains, and Telegram to deliver the payloads, with infections resulting in data theft, keyloggers, and persistent backdoors.
That's actually pretty interesting. I'm thinking about how I can do that as a pen tester. By the way, I just heard my son wake up above my head. So if you guys hear a 5-year-old like singing every time he wakes up, his favorite thing is to sing. He just makes up songs, but he sings them at like the top of his lungs and plays freaking drums on a bucket. So if you guys hear a rock concert above my head, that's what is going on there. But let's break this down. So one big MO of North Korea and their hacking groups is, unlike a lot of APTs where the focus is stealing sensitive data, North Korea is often financially motivated, which makes sense because as a country, they need money. Jeez. So we see this in various ways, even with ransomware, but now we have this to Zoom calls that end up stealing cryptocurrency or doing crypto miners, Blue Noroff, flaming donkey, right? As Jerry would say. But yeah, no laws today. Like previous attacks, the primary goal is most likely cryptocurrency threat, blah, blah, blah. But here is what's interesting. We have a targeted phishing or social engineering attack. It says the target, an employee at a tech firm, was contacted by the attackers on Telegram, who posed an external professionals requesting a meeting. Now, maybe I'm out of the loop here, but I have never set up a professional meeting with a client on Telegram. So maybe that's step number one. If someone on Telegram is reaching out to you as a professional requesting a meeting, be like, maybe that's just a little bit sus. It says they sent a message containing a calendar link for what appeared to be a Google Meet session, but the invite link was actually a fake Zoom domain controlled by the attackers. Hey, I'll just give a real quick self promo. In my hands-on phishing course, I'm going to be explaining and demonstrating a very similar attack vector as what this organization is doing here. So if you want to learn more about how that happens, July 8th, enroll in my course. But it's similar to a campaign discovered by Trail Bits. Once again, North Korea activity. But here's what happened. When the employee attended the meeting, which is actually a Zoom meeting, included deepfake videos of recognizable senior leadership and various external participants to add credibility. Now, we had a lunch and learn on Simply Cyber that is no longer available because of the things it showcased, but showing the power just on a consumer level of making deepfake videos and how you can use those for more advanced phishing attacks. And that's what happened. So if your company is not prepared for deep fake attacks, you need to prepare for it. I mean, we're going to see a lot more of this, I think, in the news, especially by APT groups with a lot more resources, a lot more powerful hardware of cloning a person's face and their voice all in real time. So I should have started this stream today being Jerry Auger. That would have been amazing. But this is going to be a real thing. Not only do you need to prepare for phishing emails, you need to start preparing for deep fake videos and deep fake live streams coming from someone who seems to be legit. It says during the meeting, the victim encountered issues with their mic, seemingly due to technical problems. The deepfakes advised the victim to download a supposed Zoom extension. That's actually pretty creative. So they likely pretended like, hey, I can't hear you. Like they said, it's not working. I can't hear your mic. Download this. It should fix it. They downloaded this. And this went ahead. You can see the malicious URL right here to download the file. It opens the legitimate Zoom SDK webpage, but after parsing 10,500 blank lines, it executes a malicious command that downloads a secondary payload. Pretty common thing that I've seen, but the way it was delivered is creative. So kudos to the creativity there. That's actually really interesting. It begins by disabling bash history logging and then checks if Rosetta 2, which allows Apple Silicon Macs to run binaries, is installed. Wow. So even if you have a Mac, they're coming for you. And of course, we have Huntress, incredible firm on the blue team and incident response side of things, discovering this and explaining what is going on. But however, as macOS gains broader adoption, threat actors will target it. That means use Ubuntu. Just kidding. Every operating system can be targeted. Every operating system can be exploited. I'm thinking of ways that I can use this in my own work as a pen tester, which if you want to be a pen tester, here's one of the things that you can do. As a pen tester, you may be assigned to do red team engagements. All right, a red team engagement is different than traditional pen test. I'm not going to harp on this again, but the red team engagement, you're emulating APT or an advanced persistent threat. And if you know what tactics APTs are doing, you can attempt to do those as well in the real world during a red team engagement so that you can educate the client on here's what to expect. So as a red teamer, it would be really interesting to do a very similar attack. Reach out, set up a Zoom meeting, have kind of crazy malware like this, just as a POC though, not to actually cause any damage, use deep fake videos. Would be very fascinating attack to attempt, not only for the pen tester, but also just for the organization. Do it to them before the real threat actors do it. All right, we got one more story, I think. Like I said before, CISO Links decided not to share the link, so I could be missing one. We'll see what happens. Let's continue.
UK retailers lose millions. Cyber attacks targeting major UK retailers like Marks & Spencer and Co-op are estimated to cost up to 440 million euro. That's about 591 million US dollars. That's according to Britain's Cyber Monitoring Center, or CMC. This marks the CMC's first real-world incident classification since launching earlier this year to define what qualifies as a systemic cyber event, a move designed to bring clarity for insurers and policymakers. The attacks were labeled a Category 2 event, with Marks & Spencer hit hardest financially and Co-op facing greater operational impact in rural communities. Hey, CISO series.
Okay, I do think that's the last story. We'll double check at the end of this, but nothing super new here. Cyber attacks are expensive. I'll just harp on that again. If you are a CISO, if you are a senior leader, do not forget to have decent money being spent on cybersecurity. Not only on the blue team, but also doing pen tests and red teaming engagements. It's going to look expensive at first when you get that first quote from like the pen test agency, at least if the pen test firm does their job well. It's going to look expensive, maybe $10,000 to $15,000 for a 5-day engagement. But I can tell you that $15,000 is a lot cheaper than $362 to $591 million. Same with the blue team spend. All right. If you want to protect your assets, you need to pay cybersecurity well. Do not miss that. Whether you're retail, whether you're a telecommunications agency, whatever it is, make sure you're spending money where it actually matters. Outside of this, I don't find this story super interesting. What is interesting is this, like, categories. They're almost like hurricanes, right? You have a category 5 hurricane, you have tropical storms in category 1 and category 2. So this is a category 2 hurricane. Systemic event, which is interesting language, which means it goes deeper than the organization. It says Marks and Spencer, the co-op and Harrods are all targets, blah, 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 blah. I think it said we have category 0 for the lowest impact and category 5 for the highest. So it really is like hurricanes to measure threat actors and the damage that they have caused. It says the impact is narrow and deep, having significant implication for 2 companies and knock-on effects for suppliers, partners, and service providers. This contrasts with shallow and broad events like last year's CrowdStrike, or if you guys were here yesterday, we learned about CowStrike. Haircut Fish made a beautiful graphic for it. I need to make shirts out of it. If you missed the CowStrike conversation from yesterday, you missed out. Rewatch the stream from yesterday just for CowStrike. That was my favorite thing. But we have CrowdStrike. CowStrike maybe was a category 1 or category 2 event over in Russia. But honestly, outside of that, it feels like slow news day, kind of a repeat of some of the stories. Nothing really interesting that we can dive into right here. Let me jump back over to this. But that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes today's daily cyber threat brief with me, your guest host, Tyler Ramsby. Do want to say a big thank you to all of you for taking the time out of your day to hang out with me, whether you are watching this live as it happens or later on after the fact. Thank you for being here. Make sure you do all the YouTube algorithm stuff, like, subscribe, turn notifications on, not only for Simply Cyber, but quick self-promotion. Once again, I have my own YouTube channel where I teach ethical hacking concepts and all of that fun stuff. You can just look me up, Tyler Ramsby. You can find my channel. I live stream on there all of the time, doing hacking shenanigans. Would love to have you sub and be part of the journey. But thank you, everybody, for joining. We are going to switch over to Jawjacking now, but you get to hear from the one and only Eric Taylor. So I'll play the little video for Jawjacking, and then he'll come up and he'll try not to get canceled. I believe. We'll dive into this. Let me see if I can find the right Jawjacking. Here we go.
Ever wonder what it takes to break into cybersecurity? Join us every weekday for Jawjacking, where industry experts answer your burning questions about the cybersecurity field. Live, unfiltered, and totally free. Let's level up together. It's time for some Jawjacking.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the show where my hair is a freaking mess and we try not to get canceled. It is your first time joining. My name is Eric Taylor. I'm the CISO, Chief Forensic Operator here at Barricade Cyber Solutions, and happy to be able to answer any and all of your burning technical questions. While we get ready to get started on that, definitely leave your, if you're new, put a Q : mark into the chat. I'll even give an example here. My question here. So follow that and be able to ask your question so that way I can quickly find you. But let's give a round for Tyler. Those who don't know, I've been very, very busy in the back end working on a ton of stuff. So I haven't been seeing a lot of Simply Cyber shows, unfortunately, you know, they say go into business for yourself. You make your own hours. You set your own schedule. They say it'd be the best thing ever. They say, yeah. You end up doing so much stuff that you don't have time to listen, and it's awesome to see Tyler. I was even telling Justin in a side channel that Tyler really. There's a lot of people in the red team sphere and world, but Tyler is definitely one of those people that when he speaks, I will shut up and listen. Right? He is. He's got a lot of knowledge. He's got the heart of a teacher, and definitely follow him and try to make sure that you absorb it. Even when you are, and I'll get into some of the questions here in a minute, but just because you're in DFIR or you're in SOC or whatever, you're in that blue team, it's very wise to study what the red team is doing. Why? Because then you put it into a sandbox. You mimic what the red team is doing, see what the logs look like. That way you know what to look for. You build your detection rules around that. Just saying. You don't learn how to use POCs in a sandbox environment, right? What I finally figured out, I think I got to get so I tried to do, I'm trying this new thing called delegation with the team. So I don't want to go too far on a limb, but I do think I figured out, and I posted it over to Justin. I'll give it to Kimberly and the rest of the team later on. But I think I figured out what to do with the domain threatactoracademy.com. I think I figured it out. It's definitely not threat actor-ish, but I don't know. They may want me to do something different. But if you have an idea what I could do with threatactoracademy.com, let me know, because I do own the domain, and we keep mentioning it here on the thing, and I've always been trying to figure out what to do with it. So I don't know, y'all. Let me know what y'all think. Anyway, we are over at Barricade. We are working on spinning up a bunch of webinars. So we're in that game, unfortunately, but we're trying to bring value to people. And let me share my screen. We have one coming up on Thursday. Let's see here. Share this screen. Let me get the link. Go away, goofhead. There we go. And I'll share it down here in chat in just a second. Come on, VM. There's the link. So this one really is. This one is something that we are looking at. So Microsoft has recently revealed how to secure your device with a little bit more enhanced. It's in preview right now. So we're going to go through this. I know the thing says a 45-minute technical webinar, and it is around conditional access. I don't know if it'll be that long. You guys know me, that sometimes I kind of speed run things. So, when I was kind of rehearsing this a little bit, it's about a 20-minute conversation, and then you guys can ask questions and things like that. So it's if you're interested into that, it's the basic thing of this one really is Microsoft is coming up with a way, and it's in preview right now. This is why I want to showcase it. When you go to an amusement park, you get kind of either a wristband, or if you've been around for a while, you had tickets, right? And it would scan a ticket and let you in. Well, that is what we call a session token. Microsoft is coming up with a way to prevent the theft of session tokens. So we're going to talk about that this coming Thursday. I will be live from a hotel room giving it. So, but we won't have to worry about the hotel Wi-Fi. You guys know, who's been around for a while, I travel with my own internet, so things just work for the most part, unless cellular is just complete trash, right? So it should be a good time. And I know I need to get my hair cut, but I will have my hair cut by the time we have the Zoom webinar. Just saying. Roswell UK, yes, this is how you ask questions. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Brews and hacks, not a question. Then why'd you put a Q there? Brews and hacks? Just kidding. Just a reminder that you are able to freeze your kid's credit. It's a headache, but I'm going through it right now because the hospital where my son was born was breached. Yes. So Equifax and them, they actually have a family plan that you can buy into for like a month or two. Go in, freeze your entire family, and then just let it be. Just let the coverage lapse or whatever. It still keeps the kid's credit frozen. And I think it was like 10 or 15 bucks a month. So I think I did that for like 2 months and just let it lapse and see if it stayed frozen. So you're already registered. Well, look at you, FedEx. What's everybody talking about? I don't really see any questions. I don't think that's a good idea. So what Roswell UK is talking about is the threatactoracademy.com site. You know, make it a phishing site, maybe for Lockbit Mirror. Oh, what you guys may, again, I didn't. Let me check CISO series. This thing just came out, so I don't think CISO series picked it up yet. But let me just check their website, because we'll talk about Lockbit. Lockbit Reevil. Let's see. I really don't like the way that CISO series has redone their website. You got to go like 3 or 4 clicks in just to get the stories for the day. DHS warns of retaliatory Iranian cyber attacks. I mean, so let's see, entire screen, boom. No effing. I mean, come on. Anybody who's got half a brain. Ransomware hits healthcare system again. Yep. Salt Typhoon. Iran linked to fake Zoom calls. UK. Okay. So let me pull this story up. I sent this over to my CTI friends. Let's see. Entire screen. No shared audio. So this is dropped on Bleeping Computer. So, Reevil ransomware members released after time served in carding charges. So, the TLDR, they spent about 3 years, 2 or 3 years in Russian prison before being extradited to the U.S. And then they spent a couple years in U.S. Prison, and now they are released to go do what they want to do, right? So Reevil folks, 2 of them were even the malware creators. I'm not going to try to butcher this, but these 2 were also found guilty of distributing malware. I believe these are the 2 that helped create the malware, but you know, just keep an eye on it. I mean, will we see a resurgence of this group? Because I'm pretty sure they're going back to Russia, right? So whatever. But yeah, keep an eye on that. You'll hear about it here soon. What is your favorite emerging threat for 2025 so far? I wouldn't say favorite, but most shocking one really would be the click fix. Like, the fact that click fix is even freaking working is effing astonishing to me. Like, you're going outside of the norm, like verify your identity to prove that you're not a bot. It's literally been images. And just the nuances, like now we got to do keyboard strokes and all this other garbage. Like, that's so outside of the norm for any of it, and it's freaking working. It's just shocking to me. Scott Pilgrim movie, thumbs up or thumb. I don't know who Scott Pilgrim is. If you were a threat actor, what would you call yourself? Oh. Maybe just call myself Dolphin. Why not? Great. Now I put that out in the ether, and there's going to be a threat actor called Dolphin, and everybody's going to think it's me now. Scott Pilgrim is my favorite movie. Oh, I guess let me... Spicy Dolphin by Code Brew, or stated by Code Brew. Let's see, Scott Pilgrim. Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I don't think I have this, or I've seen this. I don't think. No, I have not seen this. I will add it though. Let's talk about drones. Sure. What do you want to talk about? They go up in the air, they fly around, they take pictures. No button on your bingo card. So the one thing I can say about drones, I think I talked about this before, but a lot of people get all up in arms about drones flying over their house. And there is legal precedent now where you do, as a homeowner, maybe even a renter here in the States, you own the airspace above the ceiling of, or above your roof, right? But that does come to a limit, right? Just because you own the airspace above your home doesn't mean it goes for infinity. Otherwise, planes wouldn't be able to fly over your home. So there's like a reasonable buffer, and there hasn't been a distance set above your home that you own that airspace for your privacy, right? So, and some of the cases that have been coming up where you are pretty much stating that, you know, you're allowed to shoot down a drone, and if you want to know how to shoot one down, literally we've been recommending, and a lot of military folks have been doing this, is just pure out bird shot with a 12 gauge with bird shot. And it is really, really good to take down most drones, right? So is it 400 or 5? No, that's probably too much, because a lot of drones can't even fly above that, or maybe that's meters. No, but either way, it's much smaller than that. Yeah, I think they are trying to make it 200. So, there's something to be cognitive of, is like, reasonable action. Just because, like, say, I live in a neighborhood. I'm sure most of you watching this live in some sort of neighborhood. And just because a drone is flying by your house, I don't think constitutes a need to shoot it down, right? Due to air traffic. So, I mean, a lot of drones can fly in category C or C class airspace, which is kind of unregulated. But if a drone that you are unfamiliar with is hovering over your house and looking like it's taking video or pictures of you in your backyard, then yeah. Now the problem comes in is, the burden of proof on that. And there's a lot of people that are selling kits now, and they're expensive, around 3 or 4K, to actually track drones around your area. So maybe if you're uber paranoid about your airspace, showing a pattern of a DJI, for instance, drone signature serial number flying constantly over your house, may be good precedent for your action, right? Yeah, commercial, exactly. I don't know. You're getting into more of the technical than I know. I'm really just scratching the surface on a lot of this stuff, right? So, it's interesting. Under the 250 grams show up on radar? I don't know. I don't think so, because there's been plenty of YouTube videos that, pilots will call in to ATC and say, hey, a drone just buzzed by me, and they're reporting it to ATC, but, the ATC is like, okay, thanks for letting us know, and they'll report it or make note of it. So I don't think commercial air traffic control can see it. Can military? Probably. But like I said, there's kits out there that's just for tracking drones and looking for I believe the BTL, or is it BLT? The Bluetooth low something or another. Sorry, I'm having a brain fart. The Bluetooth something, but anyway. If it's a bird, it'll show up like a bird. I don't know if ATC even we'll see that, right? Because we see too many, things about a bird strike, and they didn't ever, mention that to air traffic or to the commercial flights. Maybe there's a flock of them, maybe, but I think a singular bird is not going to show up on a radar. Yeah, Bluetooth low energy. Thank you, Robert. Thank you. But I think that's called BTLE or something like that. But yeah, they come in, or they transmit. So there's trackers out there, and it will transmit a serial number. It may not say this is Bob Jones's DJI drone from 123 Sesame Street. Get the point. But you can be able to track it by the serial number or the signature of it. So is it called BLE, Robert? I thought it was BTLE or something. But anyway, but a lot of your keys have it and things of that nature. But that's my point. If it's a bird size, it shows up like a bird. It doesn't. Okay. Military's having issues tracking via radar. And that's just for the commercial ones that you can pay for, right? Like the DJI and some of the other well-known one. But I mean, there's so many kits out there that I don't even know if they use the Bluetooth technology or anything like that, that may not even show up on even like the commercial trackers that you can buy from folks off of like Twitter X or whatever. Is there anything you regret not learning earlier when you started in cybersecurity? How to know my limit and not get in a lot of federal trouble, honestly. This is where I belong, is in DFIR. Yeah, see, we need to have Robert come up for a TED Talk, because he clearly, between him and Luke Canfield, they know more than I do, and they're saying stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember seeing that. That's what it was called, was remote ID. Dude, that is freaking cool. I'm building one drone with a 2.2 meter wingspan. Dude, please YouTube that thing. That would be so cool. So you're getting the, what is it, the 170 or 107 license in, I assume? Yeah, the law. How do you not get in trouble when you do what you do? Because we're doing it for the client, and we work with federal authorities a lot. Red teaming, you can get, if you're not careful in red teaming, you can get in trouble a lot. So it is 107. I know it's like the 107 or 170 or something like that. Anybody got any questions? If not, I mean, we'll kind of bow out and give the day back to people. Well, here's one that I overlooked from Matthew Hibbett. when AI renderings becoming more and more realistic as the days go by, what ways do you see predict we as people will be able to determine between fake news stories or propaganda? Research, really. Do as much research as you can. And I mean, that's even for the news. Whether you're Fox, CNN, MSNBC, pick your favorite news organization. And when they talk about a story, try to look at both sides of that story. Try to root in and get as much detail as you can to determine the truth, right? I mean, there was, my daughter, for instance, was on one of the damn social media things, and somebody was talking about, we've declared World War III, and I'm like, no, the F we haven't. Get the hell off of social media. Let's see. Where do you see AI automations or workflows having the greatest impact in the cybersecurity sector? I'm hoping in legitimate detections versus the machine learning and everything creating all these false detections. That's what I'm really hoping. I don't know how much AI is going to get into being able to remediate. I'm sure some of it will be able to start doing some remediation efforts. I just don't know how advanced it's going to get, at least in our lifetime. Your hair looks fine. Dude, this is a summer madness. Like, it's curly. And, like, take a shower, 10 minutes later, it's like I'm wearing an afro puff on top of my head. It needs to be cut. And unless I put, like, a ton of gel in my hair to lay it down, it's a mess. But, yeah. And that's why I'm getting ready to switch up my setup to like a boom mic and stuff like that, because this just looks goofy because you got the headrest, kind of parting the Red Sea in my skull. Yeah, nobody declares world war. There's well, I guess it's not like the United States or Ukraine or Russia, like, we declare world war. I mean, maybe they could literally declare war on every other country. I mean, that could happen, but I think for it to be classified as a world war, at least I think it's like 8% of the countries have to be involved in the conflict. I think. Follow up. Are there clients that you've been like, no, I'm not doing that? Yes. I won't go into it very much here because it is a very polarizing topic. But there is one industry that we will refuse to do work with. And it's my religious beliefs. And just by saying that, you probably already know what I'm talking about. But there's an industry I won't deal with. Oh, Space Taco, sorry to see that you have a stupid meeting. Go in there, drop some knowledge, and not make it stupid. Make it a very smart meeting. How effective do you feel AI will be with IoT protection? I don't know. And I guess it really depends on where the sensor is. Because, I mean, thinking this thing through in my head, there's two aspects of it. It's like, are we using AI to code the software for the IoT device? I don't know how well it's going to be, because the ability to enforce the AI, let's just say Grok or ChatGPT, pick your flavor, unless you're specifically telling that platform several times, like when you start off, hey, I need to create a secure code for XY for my, let's say, vacuum cleaner, right? Your little robot vacuum cleaner. We're building a robot that mops and vacuums. You know, we need to do blah blah blah. You know, here's all the sensors. Here's all this stuff. We need a secure code created, and as you're going through it, asking it, is this code secure, right? Then I don't know how secure it will be. If we're talking about network communications, outside of putting IoT on its own VLAN, where it's not able to even see your workstations and servers and all that, which will cause its own problems, especially with some integrations. Yeah, time will tell. I have hope for it, but we'll see. Question, may have to research and answer another day, maybe. Have you seen the blog post articles about the weaponization of kids by foreign nation states to provide? And yes, I've seen that, Alpha Sierra, and it effing pisses me off. I don't know how much we can go into on this channel, but I have seen that. Techwood 2? Sorry, not sure how to pronounce your name. Red team or blue team or Python programming, which would you start from? Dude, I'm gonna say dude general in a generic term. I'm not sure if you're male or female, so don't look too far into it. That's a personal preference. You know, do you want to defend? Do you want to attack? And Python programming it's like asking, do you want an apple, orange, or a steak? Now, I'm not trying to beat you up, but your question is all over the place. And I don't really know how to answer it, but seriously, that is a personal question. Do you want to do red teaming? Do you want to do blue teaming? Or do you want to go over here and do some coding? I mean, I don't know anything about you. I've never met you. I don't know what your interests are. I'm not trying to be an a-hole here, but you know, that is literally a personal question, because you know, I could say go do blue teaming, and you start doing blue teaming, like I hate this, and I hate Eric, and I hate Simply Cyber for telling me to do this. You got to figure out where your passion is. Turn every useless meeting into an opportunity to teach somebody something. I like it. Yeah, that's what I try to do. That's literally what any meeting that I'm on, I literally take it as an opportunity to dunk on something. Like, no, this may be a stupid idea. Have you considered this? Or, hey, you may not have thought this through. Have you thought about that? So, what the heck are we supposed to do? I don't know. Oh, about the kids? I'm not sure, Alpha Sierra. It's a good question. And I mean, most of them are foreign kids, so I'm not sure what all we can do. And, you know, I'm not trying to be like, you know, touting the MAGA line or anything like that, but it is true. We have more problems here in our own borders to worry about. Like, I think we need a more more focus on, you know, sex trafficking and all this stuff that's happening right here in our own borders. Now, if that's what you're talking about, you know, recruiting kids in our borders is a thing. I haven't seen that yet. It's been mostly foreign countries. Is it happening here? Possibly. You know, unfortunately, parents don't watch their kids that much. I hate to say it. You know, I've been even guilty of it myself from time to time, not paying as close attention to, you know, what my kids are doing online and trusting certain protections. So, you know, I know how easy it is to get in that trap, but I'm always trying to make sure I'm at least checking in and seeing what's going on with them, right? So, anyway. Would you hire someone with no degree but Sec Plus and Home Lab experience? Yeah, as entry level. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Alpha Sarah, what is it that you want to do? Exactly. That's what I was saying, yep. So, I mean, you just did it again, but I already said it, and exactly what Alpha Sierra said. What is it that you want to do? That's where you start. None of us can guide you on that. You know, I've had fun in red teaming when I was doing pen testing. I have fun in DFIR, but DFIR will chew people up and spit them out because, one, they get burned out, and two, they don't find it fun. They don't find it interesting. You know, they don't want to look at logs. They don't want to, you know, threat hunt. They don't want to do that. So maybe red teaming or blue teaming is for them, you know, being a network admin, a sysadmin, like. And sometimes, unfortunately, you don't know what you like or don't like until you get into the weeds of it. But I will say Python can be used in both blue team and red teaming stuff. So, I mean, learning a programming language, I personally don't know Python. I know PowerShell, because it's very easy to get PowerShell on any and all operating systems these days. And it just makes sense. That's what I gravitate to. Like, everything I code is literally effing in PowerShell. I take a look at Python and I'm like, I don't understand what the hell they're trying to do here. What's up, Triple D? Yeah. Hi, Pocket Pixie. My name is Eric. Python is the easiest language. Yeah, maybe. All right, Pocket Pixie. Signal was not hacked. Let's get it straight. Telegram was not hacked. Did they have information disclosures? Yes. But that was about a specific, those are specific Telegram channels and certain Signal applications that were built on the Signal platform. Microsoft Teams has not been hacked. Has there been exploits for Teams? Yes. Is there phishing attempts using Teams? Yes. But the Teams application has not been hacked itself. Please chill out. And yet we have some idiot discussing classified information use Signal. Signal is... First and foremost, calm down. That... You're getting very close to being put on timeout. Let's just say that. Because if this was my channel, I would just let you rant. I don't care. But this is getting very politically polarizing. However, Signal itself is a very secure platform. It's getting updated all the time. What happened with Pete Hegseth and the rest of the goofheads is they did not do proper vetting of who was in a Signal chat before speaking about information. I also don't know if there was any classified information spoken. Was there operational readiness and mission readiness items being discussed? Yes. Was that deemed classified? No. Then there's been no proof that it was deemed classified. Unless, literally, we'll go back to before. Unless you're, and I'm very much an independent person, I look at both sides of the equation, okay? I look at left side, I look at right side conversations, and in the middle is typically where the effing truth is. And the left side is screaming it was classified information. I personally, and I went on a rabbit hole on that. There was no proof that I could ever find that Pete Hegseth and the rest of the people that were in there disclosed classified information. There was none. But again, I'm doing that to set the record straight. And this goes back to before. People, when you're looking at AI and deep fakes and all that stuff, this is not a left, a right, or whatever leaning topic you want. You need to you look at the stories that both sides are saying, you do your own damn research, and in the middle is where the truth is 9 times out of 10. Each side has a little bit of truth to it, and the truth is the whole truth is in the middle somewhere. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Everybody's going to put their spin on it. But calm down. What is your name? My name is Eric Taylor. I am the CEO, Chief Operator here at Barricade Cyber Solutions. And most of the opinions are my own and not of Dr. Gerald Auger. The three are information disclosures. In what form? Pocket Pixie, you're on a train wreck. Favorite brand of coffee? Dunkin'. How can we assume the data classification? I would think that we can't. A lot of times you'll see whistleblowers come out, and sometimes there'll be images and stuff like that will come out, and they're pretty much stamped for the most part. I'm not sure if I really should say that, but there's stamps on it, and a lot of times they'll say in the, like, if you ever see like a formal business memo, it'll be right there at the top. You know, what security clearance and classification it is. And it's been a while. I mean, like I said, I was in the Marine Corps like 20 effing years ago. So I'm not, that's literally almost a lifetime, right? I'm 47, 48. I spent 4 years in. I did spend a lot of time, and literally I got out in 2001. So I was in from 97 to 2001. And I don't remember everything very clearly these days. Not because I'm old and senile, but you know, if you're not in the world all the time or speaking to people in that world all the time, you know, you can get a lot of stuff wrong. Like a lot of the analogies, you know, like Alpha Sierra, you know, I met her several times. Real smart young lady. She was in the Air Force, or as AF, and you know, when I get around other military people, some of the terminology starts coming back to me, like, oh yeah, I remember what you're talking about now. Of course, there's nuances to each branch too, right? So I can't find anything at Dunkin'. I mean, I really don't care for pumpkin spice crap. Just me. I was taught it always be. Yeah, I've even got a book I've not read. Do I have it over here? I don't think I do. Oh yeah, I have not read it all. I've read some of it, but I haven't read it all. But Miko, if it's smart, it's vulnerable. What I've read so far has been a good book. So, and it's several years old too. You can get it on Amazon pretty cheaply these days. So maybe something worth you looking into. So if it was classified, they only know they didn't send the original doc. Yeah, again, I don't know if there was actual documents sent. They were just talking about troop. No, I don't even want to say that because I could be wrong. If memory serves me right, they were just talking about troop readiness and getting ready to carry out certain things. Yep, exactly. I'll let that sit there for a second. Alpha Sierra is exactly right, on point. There was CUI in that disclosure. Find me on LinkedIn. Literally, Eric Taylor. My handle is ransomware on LinkedIn. I welcome you to send me where there is proof that it was CUI that was disclosed. And I'm not saying that I'm not being combative at all, Ben, on this one. But when I first looked at everything in the weeks to follow, then yes, absolutely. Please ask a queer question. Because I feel we've gotten completely derailed. While we're waiting, I'm not sure how it's supposed to flow today, but I do know the lunch and learn. I am spinning up the lunch and learn today. Let me pull that up. Oh, y'all were engine techs? That's pretty cool. My stepdad, this is how we got to Charleston. He taught on the flat line for a lot of, and I can't remember. What's it called? FTD? I think it was an FTD instructor, I think. Yeah, it was FTD. Okay. In the Air Force, an FTD field training detachment is a unit specializes in hands-on training to airmen in specific aircraft or weapon systems. Yeah. Yeah, I accidentally went this is how when I was younger, and it was right before the house got raided by the FBI, and I really learned when you walk around like you own the place that most people don't question you. So at the Charleston Air Base, the stealth bomber, which was, I think at the time, only theorized publicly, but the military had it already. I mean, I was told that my stepdad was out on the flight line doing stuff, so I just drove out there. You know, civilians are not allowed out there in the hangars and the flight line and stuff like that, but I didn't care. I did what I wanted to do. And then went over to the hangar that he was doing instruction, walked into the building and seeing the stealth bomber. I'm like, what is that? My stepdad got into a lot of trouble, unfortunately, but he was pretty high up there, so they kind of, you know, I went to base command and told them like I wouldn't say anything. And it was before it was before cell phones, so it's not like you could snap the picture with it, right? Like, I grew up in a time where you had dial-up. You didn't have cell phones, right? This was the time before effing Google was invented. I'm that effing old. All right, anyway. back to questions. Let's see. Already answered that one. How do you feel about the GCFA and the CY? Keisha, unfortunately, I am a massive Sands fan, so I will say GCFA. But I know that the cost to get that is extremely high. So I would say go CYSA. I've heard a lot of people talk about it being good. So I'm also looking for your career question. Oh, here it is. The reason I didn't see it because you didn't put a Q in front of it. Good person. I have a CEH, congratulations, and an associate's degree with a major in cybersecurity. I don't have work experience. What jobs should I be applying to? I mean, you're kind of on both sides. You can literally do red team or blue team, right? So I guess the question really is for you. And I hate to go back to previous ones. Like, which one did you enjoy more? Did you enjoy learning and going through CEH more, or did you enjoy your associate's degree in cybersecurity? You know, I mean, at least to me, you're a little bit further down the line, at least somewhat experiencing things. I'm going to just tell you either way, you're going to have a hard time right now trying to get into any space, unfortunately. But at least you have some experience of going through both verticals. So I would say literally go through or try to remember back which one did you enjoy more, which made you feel the most whole and complete. Oh yeah, so I guess I'm just spinning it up. Okay. Which I'll have to, after this show, I'll have to see where it is. So. All right, we are getting to the top of the hour, and I do have, unfortunately, some things to get to. So sorry about the complete rant that we all went on. Matthew Hibbert, with AI rendering becoming more and more realistic as oh, sorry, we already did that one. Already answered that. Already answered that. Oh, I think I missed one. Hold on. I don't think I've answered this one. From Matthew, what is your take on running local LLMs that you or your organization cultivates in-house that isn't tied to potential restrictions or bias from major players? That is literally Copilot GPT for the Microsoft ecosystem. There's also ones that you can run locally in a VM. I'm not opposed to it. The only thing that I do question is like, how advanced is the large language model going to be? Like, at least when you're dumping it into Grok, ChatGPT, or the like, it's got a lot of data set that you could be able to use, right? So, what in the world is going on? Okay, I'll follow up on that in a minute. So I just don't know, how accurate and advanced it will be. And I guess a good one would be is, once even we start messing with the Microsoft Copilot, and really putting it through its paces. I know I was testing it out about a month or so ago when we changed up some licensing and stuff like that, and it was just complete effing trash. So maybe it's better. All right, we are getting to the top of the hour. We are down to 149 people, where things just kind of got completely derailed. So if you are here, thank you so much for sticking around. And I will we'll kind of go through everything, and I will be back on Thursday. Again, go register for the webinar if you haven't yet. We'll see you on that one. Like I said, it's probably only going to be about 15-20 minutes. It may get a little long-winded, or we might fill up the entire 45 minutes. We'll see. But it's always good to schedule that versus not have it, right? I will see y'all also for Thursday Jawjacking. Until then, stay curious, my friends.
There once was a kid whose passwords laid across all sites. They were the same, a criminal then found their fame by taking that data to go.
Soon may a criminal come to steal your pictures and data and run. One day when the crime is done, they'll steal your account and go.
Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed that content. Keep the cybersecurity train going by connecting with the other Simply Cyber community resources. We have the Discord server that's lively and always keeps the conversation going. You can connect with me directly on LinkedIn. And also every single weekday morning on the Simply Cyber channel, we're doing live daily cyber threat briefings, 8 a.m. Eastern time, as well as Thursday at 4:30 p.m. we're doing live stream interviews with industry experts, and we produce videos that we push out every Wednesday morning. I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. I hope you enjoyed the content, and we'll see you in the next one.